Alright, now we're going to start with Chapter 1.b. This is concerning the Aic Triad, or what used to be known as CIA Triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability, or availability, integrity, confidentiality. Availability protection ensures that reliability and timely access to data and resources to authorized individuals. Network devices, computers, and applications should provide adequate functionality to perform in a predictable manner with an acceptable level of performance. They should be able to recover from disruptions in a secure and quick fashion, so productivity is not negatively affected. Necessary protection mechanisms must be in place to protect against inside and outside threats that could affect the availability and productivity of all businesses processing components. Like many things in life, ensuring the availability of the necessary resources within an organization sounds easier to accomplish than it really is. Networks have many pieces that must stay up and running. So we need to understand that availability is very important. If anything on the network, or let's say the cloud, is not available, the company's in trouble. I mean, there's going to be millions of dollars of money that could be lost. So you guys better be ready to make sure that all networks, all devices are available, like switches, routers, DNS servers, DHCP servers, proxies, firewalls, and so on. Software has many components that must be executing in a healthy manner, like the OS, the applications, anti-malware software, and so forth. And an organization operation can potentially be negatively affected by environmental aspects, excuse me, such as fire, flood, HVAC issues, or electrical problems, or hurricanes, natural disasters, physical theft, or attacks. An enterprise or organization must fully understand its operational environment and its availability weaknesses so that it can put in place the proper countermeasures. All right. Next one, integrity. It is upheld when the assurance of the accuracy and reliability of informations and systems is provided, and any unauthorized modification is prevented. So meaning whatever you provide or deliver, you have to be absolutely sure of its integrity. Hardware, software, and communication mechanisms must work in concert to maintain and process data correctly and to move data to intended destinations without unexpected alteration. The systems and network should be protected from outside interference and contamination. Environments that enforce and provide this attribute of security ensure that attackers or mistakes by users do not compromise the integrity of systems or data. When an attacker inserts a virus, a logic bomb, a backdoor into a system, the system's integrity is compromised. Thus, in turn, harm the integrity of information held on the system by way of corruption, malicious modification, or the replacement of data with incorrect data. Strict access controls, intrusion detection, intrusion prevention, and hashing can combat these threats. Users usually affect a system or its data integrity by mistake. Although internal users may also commit malicious deeds, for example, users with a full hard drive may unwittingly delete configuration files under the mistaken assumption that deleting a file must be okay because they don't remember ever using it. Or a user may insert incorrect values into a data processing application that ends up charging a customer $3,000 instead of $300. So incorrectly modifying data kept in databases is another common way users may accidentally corrupt data, a mistake that can have lasting effects. So make sure that data it's really safeguarded when it comes to its integrity. You have to understand this. Security should streamline users' capabilities and give them only certain choices and functionality. So don't give them more access than what they should be getting. If it's only a power user, or let's say admin, give them the exact access that this user needs. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? System critical files should be restricted from viewing and access by users. Applications should provide mechanisms that check for valid and reasonable input values. Databases should let only authorized individuals modify data, and data in transit should be protected by encryption or other mechanisms. I'm hoping you can digest this information so that it's going to stay in your head. Next one, confidentiality. It ensures that the necessary level of secrecy is enforced at each junction of data processing and prevents unauthorized disclosure. This level of secrecy should prevail while data resides on systems and devices within the network. As it is transmitted, and once it reaches its destination, attackers can thwart confidentiality mechanisms by network monitoring, shoulder surfing, stealing password files, breaking encryption schemes, and social engineering. These topics will be addressed in more depth in later chapters. Briefly, shoulder surfing is when a person looks over another person's shoulder and watches their keystrokes or views data as it appears on a computer or a computer screen. Social engineering is when one person tricks another person into sharing confidential information, for example, by posting someone authorized to have access to that information. Social engineering can take many forms. Any one-to-one communication medium can be used to perform social engineering attacks. Users can intentionally or accidentally disclose sensitive information by not encrypting the data before sending it to another person. By falling prey to a SE attack or social engineering attack, by sharing a company's trade secrets, or by not using extra care to protect confidential information when processing it. Confidentiality can be provided by encrypting data as it is stored and transmitted, by enforcing strict access control and data classification, and by training personnel on the proper data protection procedures. This is important, because your employees or anybody that is in charge of data integrity or confidential data, they should be properly trained, on how to classify this data and making sure that it's encrypted and well protected. Availability, integrity, and confidentiality are critical principles of security. Don't forget that. You should understand their meaning, how they're provided by different mechanisms, and how their absence can negatively affect an organization. Balanced security. In reality, when information security is dealt with, it is commonly only through the lens of keeping secret confidentiality. The integrity and availability threats can be overlooked and only dealt with after they are properly compromised. Some assets have critical confidentiality requirement, like company trade secrets, for example. Some have critical integrity requirements, financial transactions values, and some have critical availability requirements, like e-commerce, web servers, for example. Many people understand the concepts of the Aic Triad, but may not fully appreciate the complexity of implementing the necessary controls to provide all the protection these concepts cover. I will give you a short list of some of these controls and how they map to the components of the Triad, Aic Triad. For example, availability. What type of controls we can have for availability? Well, for example, we can have a RAID, redundant array of independent disks. We can have a cluster, a load balance, redundant data and power lines, software and backup and data backups, disk shadowing, important, co-location and off-site facilities, another one, yeah. Rollback functions, yes, for sure. Failover configurations, absolutely. For integrity, type of controls, hashing, data integrity, yes sir. Configuration management, yes. System integrity, change control, process integrity, access control, physical and technical, software digital signing, must. Transmission cyclic redundancy check, CRC. This is something that we could probably cover in a later chapter. Next one, confidentiality. Encryption for data arrest, yes. Whole disk database encryption, yes. Encryption for data in transit, yeah. IPsec, TLS, PPTP, SSH, etc. This will be we'll be talking about this on chapter 4. Access control, physical and technical. All of these control types will be covered in the book. So at least we mention some of them or most, so that you can begin to get familiar with these terms. Okay, so this concludes chapter 1b. I don't want to make it any longer because I don't want you to get bored. I'll start with chapter 1c, on point C, and we'll continue. Thank you.